Okay, you guys, we're going to finish up this 4-part series by doing 3 and 4 together. I'm the Libra man, and let's get right into it. So on my MSC Seascape 7-day birthday solo cruise, I experienced some elevators that I had never experienced before. Unlike most elevators that have the numbers on the outside and you push the number of the floor you want to go to, and then when it opens up, that's the floor that it'll take you to after it takes everybody else to where they got to go. This elevator is not like this. You push the elevator button that shows your floor, like it's on the outside, but the difference is they have A, B, C, and D, so it'll be 4 elevators right there. And whatever elevator is going to your floor, that's the letter they'll give you. So if you're going to 12 and 12 is going to D, it'll say D. Now you might be on 7, so you might have to go to 8 and 11 before 12, but that's how it's done. It's not pushing a button on the outside, getting in, and just automatically going to that floor. It's actually designating you an elevator to get on to go where you need to go. I know that sounds very similar to a normal elevator, but it's not. And the other thing is, once you get inside, you have no control over the elevator whatsoever. You don't have any buttons inside. You know, like most elevators will have buttons inside. Also, I said buttons on the outside earlier, but they have buttons on the inside on most elevators. But once you get in this elevator, it just shows you the floors that you're going to in digital. You cannot change where you're going. I mean, you can get off on a floor that you're not supposed to be getting off on, but it's assigned you to get off on deck 12, and that is where you're going. But overall, I didn't have any problems with them. They got me where I needed to go. They have glass elevators on the outside, this one big glass elevator on the outside that you can go from, I think, deck 18 all the way down to maybe deck 11. And you can see everything as you're going down. And on the inside, they have glass elevators also that go from maybe deck 4 or 5 all the way up to deck 14 and up. Unlike American cruise lines, whose unlucky number is 13, Italian's unlucky number is 17. So on MSC, there is no deck 17. So when you get off, when you're on 16 and you want to go to the top deck, if you're on the Lido deck and you want to go to the top deck, you're only going up 1 floor. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Now let's talk about the ports. Puerto Plata, I had never been there before. Puerto Plata was wonderful. They did not pester you about buying anything. You know, you was able to walk around freely. They had a lot of different animals in there, a lot of greenery when you get off. I did not go into the city. I just went around the port area, and they had nice music. They had a couple pools there. You know, they had a couple bars for people who drank. They had food where you can go buy your food. And they had quite a few vendors. I enjoyed the greenery of Puerto Plata. It was very, very nice. Then, of course, we went to San Juan, Puerto Rico, one of my favorite ports. And we were there on my birthday. I was really looking forward to that. So I did an excursion for the first time on cruising. And the excursion was taking us to Old San Juan, to New San Juan. But the main place it was taking us was, I think it was called the Crystal Ball Fort. And when we went to this fort, let me tell you, it was a fort. We went down in this dungeon area where they said they used to keep them captive when the people were locked up. It was if you were claustrophobic, you could not go down there. They had all kind of cannons and all kind of historical and phrases on the wall, and you could see in the cells where people were writing on there, counting their days. It was a very, very nice fort, and it was huge. They had the steps to get up from the level we were on to the next level was about 90 steps. No, I did not do that. I stayed where I was. And then they took us to Old San Juan. Well, we were in Old San Juan with the fort. They took us to New San Juan. And they let us get out and take pictures. And New San Juan was more like, developed and more like how can I say this? It had more of the modern hotels. It had a big baseball field because, in Puerto Rico, baseball is their #1 sport. They had big buildings, and you could tell New San Juan was a little bit more polished than Old San Juan in terms of the buildings, in terms of the area itself. They had a little beach down there, and we were able to get out and take pictures. And I had never experienced that part of San Juan. I've always got off the cruise ship and stayed in the general area. But I wanted to do something different this time. And I was able to do that. And I'm so glad I did. The tour guide was amazing. She knew everything about San Juan. She knew everything about Puerto Rico. She knew all the people that had been there, all the different stars that had been there. She talked about the history of San Juan. She talked about it being, you had to go to private school if you wanted to have English as your main language, but all the other schools there, Spanish is your main language and English is the second language. Things that I did not know, so I was glad to go on this tour. Then we go to Nassau. Now, I've heard a lot of things about how pesky they are in Nassau about wanting you to buy something. Well, when we first got off, I could tell that they had upgraded Nassau from me seeing it before. Not visiting it, but seeing it on videos and things like that. And they said that they had upgraded it. They had this big movie theater-like thing, and it was it showed big fish and big turtles, huge. When you first get there, it was just something to really welcome you to San Juan, to be able to see this. It was massive. I didn't get pestered and really bothered by people. I'm pretty much, I stick to what I say. If you ask me, do I want something? I say no. I keep it moving. I don't stand there and talk to you and go back and forth with you on why I don't do that. So I really didn't experience that. Yes, quite a few people asked me, did I want to buy something? I did buy a couple things, but it was because I wanted to and not because I was pressured to. And that evening, to my surprise, because I didn't tell anybody before the cruise, they sung happy birthday to me at dinner. Also, the next day, I was invited by the assistant cruise director. Her name was Lernice. She made a reservation for me and her to go to the steakhouse. And what an event it was. I was so surprised. I was so glad. I had met her before. As you go back to the other video, you'll see how I met her, at the solo gathering. And she was just very, very friendly. And we just had a lot to talk about, a lot of things that we discussed about life. Her being from Africa and living in the UK and me being from America, we were able to really let each other know things that the other one didn't know during our conversation. So it was a very meaningful conversation, and I really appreciated that, and I really appreciated her. Shout out to Lernice, MSC. She's doing a great job. As I walked around the ship, I noticed how beautiful it was, and the fact that even when I saw it on YouTube, it didn't do it no justice. I mean, it was so colorful, so much space, the way that the buffet was set up, how you went all the way around, it was huge. The dining rooms were enormous. The places that we had, the venue had more than enough space. I was never in a venue that was overcrowded the whole time that I was on that ship. And I went to at least 50 events. I like the way MSC utilizes the space on that ship. Now, that's the Seascape. I haven't been on the other ones, but I'm talking about this one. I had a wonderful time. I would definitely cruise MSC again. And if anybody's out there that has never experienced cruising and wanted to experience cruising and didn't mind being on a ship where other people spoke their language, but when they talked to you, if they could speak that language, they would speak American. That didn't bother me. Give MSC a chance. I think that is a wonderful cruise line. I will definitely be going back again. I will definitely tell my family about it. We do a family reunion cruise every 2 years. Our next one's due in 2026, and I'm going to let them know the time I had on MSC so we can determine where we want to go and what cruise line we want to go to. So this is the end of my 4-part series on my birthday cruise. Like anything I said in this video, hit the like button, subscribe button, leave a comment. And until the next time, the Libra Man is out.